All right, so all praises due to Yahweh, the Allah behind the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In today's lessons, I'm going to go over Deuteronomy 28 and 36. Because as you can see, all the camps out there are using that particular verse to try to insinuate that white people are Edomites. Well, I want to show you based upon all the different precepts that that's not the case, and white people are not of the seed of Esau. And as you can see, this video on this channel is only for the Israelites, the elect of Israel. And who are the Israelites? Those who are scattered throughout North, South, Central America, and other parts around the world of Negroid descent only. So I'm going to get started right now. Let's see. All right. All right. This is one of the precepts that all these different camps out there like to utilize to try to push forth this lie and this doctrine that come out of the One West. And it says, Deuteronomy 20 and 36, it says, Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which I shall set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone. So they're trying to utilize this precept to say that's being a reference of the Edomites. But there's a problem and an issue over there. I'm going to read it again. And it says that the Lord shall bring thee and thy kings, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. Hold on, let me see if I can highlight this. Over here. Let me see. It says a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. There's a problem, an issue with that. We always knew who the Edomites were. Because number one, the land of Edom was located right next to the land of Judah, the land of Israel. So we done had a whole lot of different interactions with Edomites in the ancient time. So I'm going to get started right now, and I'm going to prove it. Numbers chapter 20, verse 14, all the way down to verse 21. And it says, and Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto who? Unto the king of Edom. You're starting to see the interaction going on between us and the Edomites. And it says, thus say thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travel that had befallen us, how our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time. And the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto Yahweh, he heard our voice, and sent an angel, and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, in the city, and the uttermost of thy border. Verse 17, let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass to the field, or to the vineyards, neither will we drink of the waters of the wells. We will go by thy king's highway, and we will nor turn to the right hand nor to the left until we have passed thy borders. Verse 18, it says what? And Edom, having an interaction with the Edomites, said unto him, thou shalt not pass by, lest I come out against thee with the sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the way, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then will I pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he say, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him, much people, and with a strong hand. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border. Therefore Israel turned away from him. Deuteronomy 20:36 says that that nation was to be a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. So clearly right here, when you read Numbers 20:14 to verse 21, that totally cuts this all nonsense and lies in regards of that being the Edomites, or the quote-unquote so-called white people, being the children of Esau. I'm going to go to the book of Exodus chapter 17, verse 8 and 9. Then Amalek, who was Amalek? He was also a descendant of Edom. And Amalek fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, choose us a man and go out and fight with Amalek tomorrow, and I will stand on top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So another precept showing you on how in the ancient times we knew who the Edomites were. This is crystal clear. So when you read Deuteronomy 20 and 36, it's not talking about Esau. You see what I'm saying? It is talking about so-called white people, but not under the auspices of the Edomites. That's a falsehood and a lie. I'm going to book of 2 Samuel, chapter 8, verse 14. And it says, and he put garrisons in Edom, throughout all Edom. And he is dealing with King David. I'm read it again. And he put garrisons in Edom, throughout all Edom. He garrisons. And all day of what? Of Edom became what? David's servants. And Yahweh preserved David whatsoever he went. So even King David, during the time of the monarchy, also had Edomite servants that served him. I'm just going to show you that ever since the existence of our nation, the Israelite nation, as well as the Edomite nations, we always had a type of form of interaction going on amongst ourselves. So Deuteronomy 28 and 36 is not going into any Edomites. And that's a lie. So I'm going to go down to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49 to verse 52. And it says, and the Lord shall bring what? A nation against thee from far from the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flight, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. It says a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. It says a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor of the young. Verse 51. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, the increase of thy kind, thy flock, thy sheep, until he have been destroyed. Verse 52. And he shall besiege thee in thy gates, until the high fence walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all of thy gates, throughout all of thy land, which Yahweh thy power give thee. So I'm going to read again. It says, and Yahweh or the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flight, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Now, being the fact that the Edomites and the Israelites were living close to each other, you know for a fact that they spoke an Afro-Asiatic language. You know for a fact that they spoke different dialects of the Hebrew language. This is factual. So the only people who fit this description will be who the so-called Europeans, who did not speak any type of Afro-Asiatic languages. You see what I'm saying? And it says that the nation of fierce countenance, we shall not regard the person of old, nor show the favor of the young. He shall eat up the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed. So I'm going to go down the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 19, all the way down to verse 26. It reads on this wise. Then I would know the truth of the four beasts, which is going into the Roman Empire. You see that? Which was diverse from all others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and nails of brass, which devour, break in pieces, and step the residue of his feet. And the 10 horns that were in his head, and of other which came up, and before whom whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. Verse 21. And it says, I beheld, and the same horn made war against who? Against the saints, the Europeans made wars against the Israelites, against our people, under the auspices of the Roman Empire, the Greeks, and as well as us over here in the Americas. When they came under the auspices of the Spaniards, the Portuguese, the British, and the French. You see that? Let's see. Verse 22. Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom, Thus he say, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, and shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall divide the whole earth, and shall thread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of his kingdom are 10 kings, and shall arise, and one another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue the 3 kings, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. So you think that all these different protocols, it was the so-called Europeans. When you start going back and checking out, dealing with the Romans, it's not going into the Edomites. Because I already did a video about that last year in terms of the falsehood that some of these guys are trying to teach by saying that the Edomites were the Romans. You go through all of my files, and that was already refuted. The Edomites are not the Romans. Let's see, verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and shall be given into his hand until a time and the times and the dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit, and he shall take away his dominion, and to consume it and destroy it until the end. So that's not going into the Edomites. You start going into the Roman Empire, you start going into Javan, old Japheth. I'm going to go to down to the 11 verse 30 and verse 32. For the ships of Shittim, I'm going to come back to Shittim, shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the holy covenant, and he shall he shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant, and arms shall stand in his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifices, and they shall place the abomination that make it desolate, and such as do wickedly against the covenant he shall corrupt by flatteries, but the people that do know their power shall be strong and exploits. So I'm going to show you what the word shittim means. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Shittim 3794. All right, Strong's number 3794. Kiti or Kitiwa. This is dealing with Shittim. It says what? A son of who? Of Javan. Japheth. Also his who? Descendant and their land. Definition: a son of Javan, also his descendants and their land. This is not going into the Edomites. This is going into Japheth. You see? This is going into on how these so-called white people took on the identity of Japheth. It's not going into the Edomites. According to the NES, exhaustive concordance, from an unused name, a son of Javan, also his descendants and their land. Cyprus, Kittim. I'm going to go back there. I'm going to go in the book of Joel. Chapter 3, verse 1, verse 6. And it says, for behold, in those days, and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all nations, and I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage, Yisrael, whom they have scattered amongst the nations, and parted my land, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, what have ye to do with me, Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Verse 5, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto who? The Grecians, that ye might remove them from their border. So we're going to find out who the Grecians were. we read the definition, the meaning of word Kittim or Shittim, and it's also going into the descendants and the people of Javan. So this is Strong's number 31 and 25. The Grecians, also descendants of Javan or Japhet. Definition, according to the Strong's Concordance, a descendant of Japhet. According to the NES, from Javan, descendant of Japhet, Greeks. You see? Let me go over here. According to the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, Grecians, predominantly from Javan, a Javanite, a descendant of Javan or Grecian. This is not going into the Edomites. I'm going to go up again. So when you read Deuteronomy 28 and 36 and Deuteronomy 28, 49 to verse 52, it's going into Japhet. It's not going into Edom or Esau. Hold on, let me just, all right, I'm going to go to Genesis chapter 10, verse 2 to verse 5. And it says, the sons of Japhet, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and who? Javan. Javan was one of the sons of Japhet, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Rephath, Tormah, and the sons of Javan that we just read in Joel chapter 3, verse 1, verse 6, and Daniel chapter 11, dealing with the Shittim, is Eliash and Tarshish. Tarshish also going into what? Spain. They're not the Spaniards came down over here and conquered us, the aboriginal of this whole continent, all throughout Central and South America, in particular in the island of Hispaniola. When they saw Israelites, which the majority of us were already over here when they conquered us, but that's a whole other topic and subject matter. And it says, Kittim and Donanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided and their lands, every one after what his tongue, and their families and their nations. So like I said, when you go back and read Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36, where it says, and the Lord shall bring thee and thy kings, which I shall set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and they that shall serve other gods, wood and stone, is not going into Edomites based upon the precepts that I just showed. That's a falsehood by all these different One West camps. That's another lie that they're teaching. So with that, I'm going to sign out. I'm going to say all praise is due to Yahweh, the Elohim, and Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So with that, I'm going to sign out.